Shalom. First off, give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahshai, Bashem Karkadash, the honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are there in truth and sincerity, in the women and the children who follow. So as you can see, I wanted to dive in, quick lesson over the Strait Gate. As you can see, there's a picture here. It's a path, a very narrow path, and I'm using that to represent the path that we have to walk in this truth. Because it definitely can be a dangerous path. It is a road less traveled, and as the scripture says, I'm not going to jump the gun. We'll go ahead and get that here in a moment, but it's dangers along that path because they call it the Strait Gate for a reason. It's not the Strait Gate because that's the direction, because it's a straight path. Oh no, this path definitely comes with twists and turns. You have this devil trying to knock you off this path. You have this flesh trying to pull you off this path. But your spirit, your mind should be locked into this truth to keep you on this path. So first we're going to get Matthew chapter 7 verse 13. It says, "Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go thereat." Okay, so as I said, that strait gate is not talking about a direction or that word straight is talking about the difficulties that you're going to have to go through, i.e. dire straits. You're going to have family, you're going to have friends turn their back on you. You might have been that dude in the world, but when you come into this truth and you become a new man and you're not filled with the same excess of riot as before, or other men, or as other men are, you lose a lot. Not spiritually, but carnally. But hey, what's gonna get you into the kingdom? It's that reputation that you have in the truth. Not the reputation that you had as a man. It's your conversation in the truth that's going to pull you through. And it said, wide is the gate that leadeth, wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And that's the world. That's where everything is pretty much acceptable. You're not governed by law, statutes, and commandments, by rules and regulations, by do's and do nots. Verse 14, it says, "Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few be there that find it." Like I said, this is off the beaten path, the road less traveled. Being a man of the Lord and being in His truth, no, it's not the norm. And like I said, man, you're going to go through things. You're going to have to go through the persecution. You're going to have to go through diverse temptations. You're going to have to ultimately conquer yourself. All the different points of how can I put this? All the different things that you were vulnerable to in the world, you got to wash all that off. And that's difficult to become a new man. That's why scripture calls us babes, newborn babes. Because it doesn't matter if you 20 years old when you come in this, 30, 40, 50. You're starting all the way over. And you're going to mess up. But just stay on the path. And that's the path that's going to lead you to righteousness. That's the path that's going to allow, it's like that's going to allow wisdom to come in and sup with you. That's the path that's going to allow you to operate on the right state of mind frame in that day of Jacob's trouble. You're going to be on the right vibration, so to speak. Okay, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 7. I want to start at verse 3. It says, "And I said, Speak on, my power. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it may be deep and great. But put a case, the entrance were narrow and like a river. Who could go into the sea to look upon it and rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come to the broad?" So in order for you to get the abundance of the sea, which that's a metaphor for the truth right now, you have to go through the narrow of the river, or you have to walk this path. Now, we have to get down this river. You're going to get a hole in the boat. You're going to take in water. You might break a paddle. And if you got to stop and patch and get back on the river, you do that. If you have to get a branch to use as a paddle, you do that. But by all means, you got to get down this river. Because we got to make it to the sea. Verse 6. "There's also another thing. A city is builded, and is set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall." Like this picture that we see a narrow path that's set in a dangerous place to fall. Like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left, a deep water. So imagine fire on this side and water on that side, and this is the only path that you have to walk. That's how it is in this truth. And only one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. Two people ain't fitting right there on this thin strip at once. Okay? That's how it is in this truth, man. Everyone has their own walk to walk. We walking together, but separate. We are all enduring this truth together and here for each other together. But ultimately, at the end of the day, We have to make the choice, and we have to walk this path alone. Verse 9. If the city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how should he receive this inheritance? So if you stay on this side and your prize is on the other side, how are you going to gain that prize? You can't send someone to go get the prize for you. Then they get the prize. That prize is the kingdom of heaven, salvation, deliverance when this place is deemed to be destroyed. You got to walk that path, and you got to take what's yours. Yahushua said that we're joint heirs. He had to bear his cross. You have to bear your cross and get across this path. You have to conquer yourself, conquer your fears, conquer your downfalls and the things that you don't like about yourself, man. You gotta chisel yourself out of the marble, man. The brother in Des Moines, you call. I keep remembering he had a saying, like the man that chiseled himself out of the marble and just keep chipping off little pieces until it's perfect. That's how we have to be in this truth. You gotta chip off that old man piece by piece. And as you do that, you're gonna be getting across this path. Don't stop in the middle and just sit in the middle. Don't give up and jump into deep water or fall into the fire. He that endures to the end, the same shall be saved. Get across this path at all costs. Whether you have to forsake your family. Some of us have forsake, wives or children or jobs, friends. A lot of people have given up a lot in the world to get a lot more in its truth. Because ultimately, everything else is vanity. Let me get this last scripture and I'll end it on that. It says, and I said, it is so, Lord. Then he said unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. So in order to take part in your lot of the portion of Israel, you got to get across this path of the straight gate. Simple, not easy, but it's simple. With that being said, we give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity, and the women and the children who follow. Shalom.